This is Barry Zalma on insurance. I am an attorney who has retired from the practice of law and now spend my time acting as an insurance claims consultant or expert witness and as an author and producer of these videos. Today, September 15, 2020, I am publishing Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter number 20, volume 24, number 18. This issue will cover stories like how the Florida High Court rejected attorney Strems' bid to dissolve the suspension from practice of law and the filing of a contempt petition by the state bar to hold Mr. Strems in contempt. The state high court rejected the request of Scott Strems to have his emergency suspension dissolved, accepting the recommendations of court-appointed referee Judge Dawn DeNiro that it remain in place. Strems continues in his efforts to strike the allegations by the Florida bar that he with his firm engaged in mendacious bad faith conduct and made false or fraudulent statements to other parties involved in suits as well as to the court. The state bar also filed a petition for contempt because Strems or his workers are still practicing. Also, we have a story about a Ladera Ranch, California self-storage management company that was fined for unlicensed activity. SmartStop Asset Management, LLC, was fined $250,000 in monetary penalties by the California Department of Insurance for offering and selling more than $2.1 million in insurance products to its renters without an insurance license. Companies that are not properly licensed to transact insurance in California place policyholders at risk because the insurers have not met the standards under state law, said Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara. In this case, my department's investigation ended this illegal activity to protect California renters throughout the state. SmartStop Asset Management, LLC, and its affiliates, collectively called SmartStop, control, manage, or contract with other entities to manage self-storage facilities that are leased to California renters. On July 27, 2020, the department issued a cease and desist order to SmartStop, requiring the unlicensed company to immediately stop selling insurance products in California to storage unit renters. The cease and desist order alleges that between October of 2017 and July of 2019, SmartStop offered and sold approximately 19,500 insurance policies to California consumers without an insurance license. The department's investigation discovered SmartStop charged renters more than $2.1 million for renters' insurance, retaining more than $1.8 million in operating fees. It was not disclosed to renters that they would be paying high fees to SmartStop for insurance that actually cost less. This issue will also cover the fact that there are new Special Investigation Unit regulations that are effective October 1, 2020, and that every person and insurer doing business in the state of California as an insurer must comply with the regulations as they are now in effect. The California Department of Insurance has amended the Special Investigation Unit regulations that are set to take effect on October 1. They are 10 California Code of Regulations, Section 2698.30 at SEC. The new rules tighten the compliance requirements already in place. Some of the changes include stronger oversight on entities that insurers contract with, directly or indirectly, to perform SIU and anti-fraud duties, an increased emphasis on using patterns or trends as red flags for fraud, new guidelines for releasing information to the California Department of Insurance Fraud Division, guidelines around the written procedures used by the insurer's SIU, a requirement to investigate all credible referrals of fraud, enhanced requirements leading up to and in the reporting of fraud to the California Department's Fraud Division, more detailed and strenuous requirements for training of insurance personnel, more detailed resources used by insurer claims and anti-fraud personnel, requiring certain information in SIU annual reports, allowing insurers and holding company systems to reference holding company systems SIU information in their SIU annual reports, and setting forth additional details on the finalization and resolution of SIU examinations by the California Department of Insurance. Although the regulations take effect this year, insurers will have until April 1 of 2021 to update their contracts with other entities performing fraud work. Companies can expect to be tested for compliance with the new rules through examination by the department's dedicated SIU compliance office. I am presently working on an update to my book, The California SIU Regulations, which should be available soon on Amazon.com to assist insurers, claims personnel, insurer anti-fraud personnel, insurer management, insurer claims counsel, and an insurer coverage counsel to work to comply with this addition to the attempt to manage the work of insurers and anti-fraud people. The full set of the regulations are available on the insurance department's website, which will lead you to the California Code of Regulations. There's also a link in the published issue of this Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter. I will also report on good news about convictions from the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, about convictions for health insurance fraud that has been reported in the press and by the U.S. Attorney's Office, including a report on how a manager of medical clinics in Brooklyn and Queens was sentenced to 13 years in prison for multi-million-dollar money laundering and health care kickback schemes that allowed Alexander Picas to be sentenced on August 31, 2020 by U.S. District Judge Ann M. Donnelly. 3 former caregivers were sentenced on civil rights and obstruction charges. Medical assistant admitted to her role in genetic testing kickback and bribery scheme. How the Pennsylvania Medicare Advantage plan provider agreed to pay $2.25 million to the United States to resolve fraud charges. How a Springfield woman was sentenced to prison for health care fraud and tax evasion. How a Madison County nurse practitioner pleaded guilty to health care fraud. How a West Virginia hospital agreed to pay $50 million to to the U.S. to settle the fraud case, how an ex-Indian health services doctor admitted to a conflict of interest charge where he prescribed diabetes drugs in exchange for kickbacks, how a Shreveport Prosthetics Inc. company agreed to pay $1.6 million to resolve False Claims Act allegations, how a nurse practitioner was sentenced to probation for Medicare fraud by reusing rectal devices on patients, how murder to collect federal benefits was defeated. I would also report on other insurance fraud convictions that have nothing to do with health care, where a woman, Julia Adlisick in England, was found guilty of sawing off her own hand for a payout and was sentenced to 2 years in prison and didn't collect the £926,000 she expected from her insurers. How 2 defendants were convicted of a $2 million insurance and tax fraud scheme. How there was a tangled web of insurance and murder in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. Insurance fraud goes everywhere and is an equal opportunity crime. In this case, the wife who had allegedly contacted someone to kill her husband for the insurance money was found guilty and convicted. Then there is the case of artist Layson, who was found guilty of insurance fraud and was given probation only to fail to fulfill the terms of his probation and sentenced to spend time in jail as a result of his failure to comply with the probation requirements. We also explain about books written by me that are available for you to make as gifts to your insurance clients or claims employees so that they can better work as insurance claims professionals and thereby avoid any attempt to even consider that the gift was for anything other than kindness. And my books from Amazon.com, from the ABA, and from Thomson Reuters are all available and described in the newsletter and can be found at my website at www.zalma.com by clicking on the Insurance Claims Library. And you can also learn about excellence in claims handling, a video webinar course available from experfy.com. You'll learn about Zalma's Insurance 101 and Zalma on Insurance, where you can see videos at no cost concerning major insurance topics with links from at least 10 of the current videos that are available on YouTube and on rumble.com. If you found this video and or the newsletter to be useful to you or of interest, please refer it to your colleagues. Sign up for a subscription to the newsletter. It's free. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and to my blog so that you can learn about future videos and future blog posts. Thank you again for your attention.